Most people think building wealth comes down to effort. Work harder, stay consistent, be disciplined. And that is true. But here is what nobody tells you. There is a feeling that comes after years of doing everything right and still feeling like you are standing still. You have been consistent. You have been disciplined. You have made the sacrifices, done the work, told yourself it would eventually pay off. And yet something has felt blocked, not broken, not hopeless, just stuck, like you are pushing against something you cannot see. If you know that feeling, this video is for you. Because effort is only half the equation. The other half is timing. Not the timing you control, the timing that is already moving, whether you are aware of it or not. And the people who learn to move with that current instead of against it do not just work harder. They move at the right moment, and in 2026, for 3 specific zodiac signs, that moment is beginning. Because 2026 is not an ordinary year. Astrologically, 3 of the most powerful forces in astrology are aligning. Jupiter, the planet of expansion and opportunity, moves through Cancer. Saturn, the planet of structure and long-term reward, shifts from pressure into support. And Pluto, the slowest and most transformative force, continues its movement through Aquarius. Individually, these shifts matter. Together, they create something rare: clarity, action, and long-term transformation, moving in the same direction. And for 3 zodiac signs, that changes everything financially. The first sign stepping into this shift is Cancer. This is not about working harder. It is about finally seeing clearly. Because beneath Cancer's intuition and emotional awareness, there is often a quiet imbalance. Giving without return, caring without being supported, sensing what is right, but not always acting on it. And over time, that creates something draining, subtle, but constant. That is what begins to change in 2026. Because with Jupiter moving through Cancer, something expands internally. First, clarity. Cancer begins to see where their energy has been going and where it has been leaking. The situations that take without returning. The opportunities chosen out of availability instead of alignment. The instincts they ignored even when they felt right. And once that becomes clear, their decisions change. Not dramatically, precisely. They stop overgiving. They choose more carefully. They begin trusting themselves fully. And this is where the shift happens. Because Cancer has always been intuitive. But in 2026, that intuition becomes direction. They do not just feel what is right, they act on it. And when that happens, money stops feeling like something to chase. It becomes something they build. But the next sign is different. Because this is not about new opportunity. This is about something finally paying off. The second sign entering a wealth era in 2026 is Capricorn. Capricorn carries something few people ever see: the weight of invisible effort, working consistently at a level that costs something, while the results stay out of reach. Watching others move faster, while you stay disciplined. Holding long-term vision in a world that rewards shortcuts, and sometimes quietly wondering if it is working at all. It is. Because in 2026, that effort begins to return. Saturn, Capricorn's ruling planet, shifts from pressure to propulsion. The same force that tested you now supports you. And Pluto's long transformation begins to stabilize. What this creates is simple. Results. Effort that once felt invisible becomes visible. Opportunities that felt distant become accessible. And most importantly, Capricorn begins to trust themselves again. No hesitation, no second guessing. Just clear, deliberate movement. And when Capricorn moves like that, financial growth does not just follow, it accelerates. And then there is the final sign. This one is quieter. But it may be the most powerful shift of all. The third sign stepping into financial alignment in 2026 is Taurus. This is not fast money. This is lasting money. Because Taurus has never been focused on chasing wealth, they build it. But there has been a tension. between security and change, holding on to what feels safe while sensing it may no longer be enough, following familiar paths, even when they stop leading forward, feeling that growth requires change, but not fully ready to release what is known. That is what 2026 begins to resolve. Because with Uranus continuing its influence through Taurus, something shifts internally. Taurus begins to see value differently. Not just money, time, energy, long-term stability. And because of that, their behavior changes. Less reactive, more intentional. They invest more carefully. They commit more strategically. They begin building systems, not just income. And while this may not look dramatic, this is how real wealth is created. The kind that does not disappear. The kind that stays. But here is what matters most. For all three signs, and for anyone watching this, these shifts do not remove effort. They remove resistance. They replace confusion with clarity, hesitation with direction. The feeling of pushing against something invisible becomes the feeling of moving with something. And that difference changes everything. Because when you stop forcing outcomes and start moving with timing, progress feels different, faster, smoother, more certain. And that is what 2026 is beginning to offer. Not luck, alignment. If your sign was mentioned, pay attention. Because these changes do not arrive loudly. They show up quietly, in decisions, in opportunities, in moments where something simply feels right. Those are not coincidences. Those are turning points. And if your sign was not mentioned, nothing is missing. Your timing is different, because in astrology, everything moves in cycles. If you want to understand what is shifting for your sign next, subscribe to Druid Shaven. Because the most powerful changes are the ones you feel first, before you fully understand why.